My partner, who is 30 years old, made a painful choice that shook the foundation of our relationship. I am 34 and have invested nearly a decade into what I believed was a strong and loving marriage. Recently, she took the courageous step to draft a sincere letter in which she confessed to having strayed during a tumultuous period in our lives. The backdrop of our struggles was set against the global pandemic, which acted like a storm, battering us as we tried to navigate through heightened challenges. The past 8 years had been a mixture of laughter, love, and some conflict, a tapestry woven with threads of joy and trials. During the pandemic, however, those threads began to fray. Simultaneously, she embarked on a 2-year study program abroad, an exciting opportunity for her, yet it created an emotional rift between us. While she was chasing her dreams, I found myself juggling 2 jobs in the healthcare sector, working diligently to provide for us. The distance was a formidable barrier, one that took a toll on our emotional connection. In hindsight, I acknowledge that I had my own shortcomings during our arguments. There were times when my frustration bubbled over, leading to me raising my voice in public, an act that made her feel cornered and distressed. I promised myself that I would address my emotional reactivity and commit to working on my behavior during disputes, but the growing separation made it increasingly difficult for me to reach her heart. I focused intently on demonstrating my commitment to change, even going as far as quitting smoking, an effort I knew she would appreciate deeply. Just 2 days ago, everything changed. The letter she sent me was not just a confession. It was a heart-wrenching revelation. She admitted to having cheated once, and I felt the full weight of that betrayal crash down on me like an iron gate slamming shut. Her remorse was palpable, and I found myself engulfed in a whirlpool of emotions, desperately trying to comprehend how I could possibly move forward from this painful moment. My mind raced with images of what our life used to be like, the laughter, the plans we had crafted together, and now this. As I grappled with thoughts of reconciliation, she dropped another bombshell. She is pregnant. The timing of it made my heart plummet, as we realized the infidelity had occurred around springtime. She expressed her desire to return home, wanting to shield the child from any involvement with the person who had disrupted our lives. Initially, I had been open to the idea of rebuilding our relationship, understanding that we all make mistakes. But the news of her pregnancy overwhelmed me, a plot twist I had never seen coming. During our discussions, her feelings of regret became even more pronounced. She spoke with a tone that was both sincere and desperate, conveying her yearning to mend our bond. Yet I found myself standing at a crossroads, uncertain and conflicted. Could I truly forgive her? Would I be able to accept this child, knowing the circumstances of its conception? It felt like a heavy fog had descended upon my thoughts, obscuring clarity and peace. Amid this chaos of emotions, I realized that seeking support might be crucial for me. I needed an objective perspective to help me navigate these troubled waters and to process the whirlwind of feelings swirling within me. As I sat down to reflect, I knew I wanted to share her thoughtful letter with others to gain insights that might aid my decision-making. While friends may offer their input, I felt the urge to seek a broader range of viewpoints to help illuminate a path through this darkness. In her letter, she wrote, "My dearest, I want to begin by expressing how immensely proud I am of you for putting in the effort to improve yourself." Reading her words brought a pang of bittersweet emotion. Here I was, reeling from betrayal, yet she was taking the time to recognize my efforts. The sentiment reflected our complex relationship, one marked by devotion and yet punctuated with deep scars. The pride she felt in my growth contrasted sharply with the pain we were both enduring. It was a jarring reminder of the love that still remained amidst the turmoil. What permeated every line of her letter was a genuine hope for mutual healing, a wistful desire to see us overcome this chasm that had opened between us. It struck me how love can sometimes bring both ecstasy and sorrow. She continued to express her admiration for the person I was striving to become. It ignited a flicker of warmth in my heart, reminding me that despite this monumental challenge, there was still an ember of affection worth sparking into flame again. As we continued to speak about our situation, emotions ebbed and flowed like tides, giving rise to flickers of hope amidst the despair. It was clear, Both of us were grappling with regret and yearning, desperately wanting to find our way back to each other, yet encumbered by the weight of mistrust and fear. I couldn't help but wonder if we could transform this shared experience of pain into an opportunity for growth, not only as a couple, but as individuals navigating our separate paths. I felt the journey ahead would require deep introspection and support from those who have traversed similar valleys of heartache. Now, more than ever, I understood that healing would not be a solitary endeavor, but a shared process filled with the potential for understanding and forgiveness, if only we could find our way back to love. Over the years, a realization has slowly enveloped me like an ever-thickening fog. I don't truly know the person I vowed to spend my life with. It's an unsettling feeling, like wandering through a murky forest, searching for the familiar warmth of daylight, yet finding only a twist of shadows. I have held on to the hope that things would change, that I might unearth the genuine you hidden beneath layers of guarded emotions. Yet, as the days turned into nights and the nights into years, I found myself questioning whether I really knew the person I married at all. Being with you for such an extended span of time should have solidified a connection between us. Yet I often sense an unfamiliarity, a veil shrouding your true self. This realization is profound, but it's also laden with fear. It leaves me wondering if I will ever truly understand the soul I once thought I knew so well. Last year, the weight of these thoughts began to smother my hope, not just for our relationship, but for my own sense of self. I became ensnared by doubt, spiraling into a pit of despair that felt both suffocating and inescapable. Each argument, each unresolved conflict, began to feel like an accumulation of distance rather than an opportunity for growth. I found myself wrestling with the blame for our many struggles, your habits that felt suffocating, your angry outbursts that echoed through our home like storm clouds, your emotional absence that often left me feeling like a ghost in my own life. Although I know I'm not free from flaws, there was a nagging sense that I was carrying more than my share of the burden. As our union began to fray at the seams, a deadly cocktail of guilt and hopelessness washed over me. The image of you with someone else haunted my thoughts relentlessly. It seeped into my dreams and clouded my waking hours. I began to withdraw, checking out of our marriage emotionally, shrinking away from what we once had. I sensed your increasing distance, like you were drifting on some uncharted sea, while I remained anchored in a harbor of uncertainty. The fear that I would never get the chance to fully know the person you could become grew heavier, weighing down my heart like a stone. Last year was undeniably the most challenging chapter of my life, a tempest I never anticipated weathering. I can hardly fathom how I managed to hold on. Darkness enveloped me, an overwhelming force that consumed my thoughts and clouded my spirit. The only glimmer of hope I found was in the painful act of detachment, an emotional dissociation that felt safer than infection by continued heartbreak. I even found myself contemplating the unthinkable, divorce, though the very idea sent chills down my spine. It's difficult to convey just how tirelessly I fought to save what we once had. I longed for you to mirror my efforts, to join me in the battle to breathe life back into our relationship. I wanted so badly to present you with my best self, a version of me that was capable of forging a deeper connection, but it felt like an uphill battle when your commitment seemed elusive. Despair began to seep into my pores. It spiraled me down a rabbit hole of unhealthy coping mechanisms. I found solace in the bottom of a glass of alcohol, a misguided attempt to dull the pain of my crumbling world. The prospect of divorce pushed me to what felt like my absolute lowest. I made errors in judgment that I deeply regret, decisions fueled by an emotional storm that left me reeling. I know that I cannot place all the blame for my actions on you. I recognize the part one played in this muddled narrative. Yet, the feeling of betrayal lingers, like an unwelcome shadow over my thoughts. In these moments of introspection, I come to realize that this journey has taken its toll on both of us. In quiet moments, I can still hear the laughter we once shared and feel the warmth of our intimacy. Those memories flicker like distant stars in my mind, a reminder of the person I thought I knew so well. I'm left yearning for clarity, for the chance to reconnect, to rebuild the bridge that has crumbled between us. All I desire is to regain a sense of partnership, two souls working together to mend the rifts that have formed. To move forward, I know we must confront the complexity of our shared history, navigating through the dense fog of unspoken words and unresolved feelings. If I can discover the courage to open my heart fully, I hope you might, too, allowing the light of understanding to permeate the shadows that have clouded our relationship. Perhaps through honesty and vulnerability, we can rewrite our story, weave a new narrative that honors both of our truths. As we stand at this crossroads, I am reminded that every relationship requires effort and willingness from both partners. I believe we owe it to ourselves to explore the depths of what we can become, if only we embrace the journey together, step by agonizing step. It's a daunting path, but one worth traversing if it could lead us back to each other, and to the love that first brought us together. Even though I made a devastating error that stemmed from a series of reckless choices, the weight of that moment continues to loom over us like a dark cloud that refuses to dissipate. I haven't exactly made things easy for either of us, and I am acutely aware that my decisions have the potential to shatter what we've built together. I recognize that you might be feeling a torrent of emotions after hearing my confession, and I don't blame you. I, too, have grappled with profound feelings when I imagine you with someone else. Those visions claw at my heart. But if I take a moment to reflect on our journey, we have covered so much ground simply by choosing to be here together, navigating this tumultuous sea of love and heartache. Our connection has been the guiding light during stormy nights, and to me, it still holds immeasurable significance. Through all the highs and lows, I've loved you with a depth that has been unwavering since the very first day we crossed paths. Now, more than ever, I yearn for us to move past this chapter that has cast a shadow on our relationship and to fortify what we have together. At this juncture, the real question is, are you willing to take this leap with me? Can you accept my imperfections, my mistakes, and all the little pieces of who I am, as I stand here vulnerable and open? Can we dare to dream of building the life that we once envisioned together, the life that held so much promise and joy? Before putting pen to paper, I had to come to terms with the possibility that you might not be as forgiving as I hope. Should you decide that parting ways is the best choice, I want you to know that I will respect that decision, however heart-wrenching it may be. Together, we have grown and experienced not only growing pains but also created a wealth of cherished memories. Those moments will forever be etched in my heart as a testament to what we once shared. I can't help but think about how much we have both evolved during our time together. It's a bittersweet reminder that while I may have faltered, we have both emerged stronger, wiser, and more aware of what truly matters. I can sense that after reading my words, you might feel some degree of resentment towards me, and I get it. That's a valid reaction. But this openness is born out of a deep-seated belief that you are my person, the one I want to make things right with. Each day, I see the authentic side of you emerging, the sober, calm version that has always been there beneath the surface. And for that, I am filled with hope for what tomorrow may hold for us. I know rebuilding trust will require significant effort from both sides, but I truly believe that if you love me enough to see past my missteps, we could be that couple people look up to, the couple who faces adversity hand in hand and ultimately triumphs. If you feel a strong urge to move on from us, I promise to do my best to come to terms with that decision over time. I never want to hold you back from happiness, even if it means letting you go. However, as long as there's a flicker of hope left to fight for what we have shared, I want you to know that I have never stopped believing in us. My heart clings to the prospect of a future where we stand together once again, united and unwavering in our commitment to one another. As I sit here, lost in thought, I can vividly remember the laughter we shared, those quiet moments wrapped in each other's arms, whispering sweet nothings that felt like promises. Each memory is a thread woven into the tapestry of our love story, one that I so desperately want to continue writing. I envision us traveling together, exploring new horizons and creating fresh memories that will make our bond even more resilient. And what about the little things? The inside jokes that made us giggle uncontrollably, or those late-night conversations that would stretch into the early hours of the morning as we lost ourselves in each other's eyes. Those fleeting moments are reminders of the connection we cultivated, moments that make me yearn to reclaim what we had. I understand that there may be walls between us now, barriers erected by pain and disappointment. But I believe that if we genuinely want to break those walls down, one brick at a time, we can find our way back to each other. Communication is the key, and I am here, ready to listen, to learn, and to grow alongside you. I'm aware that the road ahead might not be easy. There may be days filled with doubt and uncertainty, moments where the past resurfaces and threatens to pull us back down. Yet, I hold on to the hope that we can work through it all, that we can emerge from this chapter stronger and more in love than ever before. I sincerely hope you can find it in your heart to consider our future together. We have a chance to rewrite our narrative, to create a beautiful story that reflects not just our struggles but our triumphs as well. I'm willing to put in the effort to nurture this love that has meant everything to me. The only thing I need from you is the willingness to embark on this journey with me, to take my hand, and together, let's find our way back to one another. If my story resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe for more. I'd love to hear your advice on the steps I should take. Keep in touch for future stories.